Welcome back to the podcast, Time by the Tent. I'm Joey Baird.
I'm Holly Baird.
And we're going to go over some unique items in which we take camping that you may not think of or have thought of, or you might think we're crazy for doing it. So you wouldn't be the first that would identify that as us being crazy for doing this, but it makes a big difference on taking these things or not taking these things. So let's start off with comfy chairs, Holly. Now you can go and buy, the pop-up fold-out chairs and the little sleeves that tuck tightly, nicely in the back seat or the trunk, and they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But if you're going to camp and you want to relax, big comfy chairs might be your answer.
Right, and we're not talking about, like your recliner.
We can say the name. We get them from Cabela's.
Yeah, we get them from Cabela's, and we get the foldable ones, and then the other one we have is a rocking style type chair, and they are durable. The one that I think both of them are technically for the big and tall outdoorsman or something, but they're very durable. They're very sturdy. They're roomy. They're comfortable. I can't believe they fit in the back seat of my car, but they're not something that you probably want to drag to the kids' soccer game. But it's definitely something that if you want to relax in your on your campsite, I would highly recommend that. And there's different varieties now, and sometimes you can find them at big box stores. Definitely just like try it out. I know those little foldable put it in the sleeve chairs. If I sit in them for too long, they hurt my lower back. So I mean, I don't mind them, again, for like my nephew's soccer game or something, but for camping, I want a little bit of comfort. There is some, you got to figure out how to finesse them in the backseat of the car or the SUV, but they're worth it. They're worth that extra work to get them to the campsite, or in the instance of you have your own property and you have your own cabin or your tent or whatever, they would stay there long term. But it's certainly worth the effort. Now these that we purchased, $85, $90 a piece. You can get the chairs you're talking about, the fold away party soccer chairs, whatever. Probably $35, $40. So we go with the bigger ones and the more comfy ones. Now, something that you might think that, we're not going to do that because it's kind of gross. It's bring your own toilet. BYOT. Yeah, so bring your own toilet.
Go ahead.
We have a portable toilet, and what you do is you put some water into the bottom of it, and then you do the thing, and then it rinses it, and then there's a separate reservoir holding tank for your waste. Yeah, we got it at Fleet Farm. I think it was $109 or whatever. And your mom and you both thought that was such a silly, goofy thing to get. And we went to the first state camp park, and within 3 minutes, I got to go to the bathroom. Well, we had an hour some drive.
Right.
And I drink a lot of water.
And it's not just we set it out there for the world to see us do our business. We bought
like a pop-up
tent that goes over it, so it's like a portable outhouse, and then we take and dispose it in the proper manner once the camping time is over. But it does not smell. It does not leak. It is a phenomenal tool that makes the camping experience so much better. And you have told stories about the Volt toilets.
Yeah, the pit toilets. And I much love to the pit toilets, and that's what a lot of is what near is these trails.
State parks.
Yeah. And I camp year round, and those Vault toilets are a terrible thing in the winter because
you hike year round.
I mean, I hike year round. In the winter, you gotta take all your layers off, and then you sit on this cold toilet seat. It's not fun.
The number of phones that have fallen into those.
I'm careful about my phone. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, they're not my favorite. And even I've gone on drives and stuff with friends or on trips, and we'll visit a state park, and then it's like, we're going to use the bathroom, and it's always a Vault toilet. There's never flush toilets. So, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. But I appreciate this portable toilet because it's not the pit toilet that I grew up with, which they never smell pleasant inside.
No, it's never, hey, come in, it smells like flowers. No, it Smells like an elephant has fallen in there and died.
Yeah. It's just, you get used to it. But, yeah, this...
I don't think you ever get used to that.
Okay, you try to. But the portable toilets... You tolerate it. But the portable toilets, and it's funny because we always called them pit toilets, and then all of a sudden now they're calling them vault toilets, which is... I don't know why make it sound pretty, but
and there's several different styles of these portable toilets that we use. And there's several different brands that make them, but we have not done a video on that yet. But it is a toilet that is well worth the effort to utilize for having to middle of the night go to the bathroom without having to kind of figure out where do I need to have purchase the campsite so I'm closer to the facilities.
Well, right, and it's
if you have kids, this would be the thing to get.
Yeah, I would agree because you have to most of the time, even if you are close to the closest toilet.
It's a 30-minute trip.
Yeah, it's easily. And wear your shoes, get your flashlight. Okay, stay on the road. Oh, we gotta, maybe if you have a dog, we gotta bring the dog. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's a 30-minute trip.
Tell us about your bathroom experiences at twvgshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear them.
There is things that you can simplify by doing like a composting situation toilet, or like there's these toilet seats that go on top of buckets.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get this fancy flushable toilet. Do I like the fancy flushable toilet? Yes.
But with the toilet seat that goes on the bucket, that smell is there. With the toilet that we have, is that second chamber that holds it. You cannot smell it at all. At all.
No. I mean, and it probably helps that you're outside. But
even when we are in the car and we have to get it to the facility to clean it, there's no smell, there's no drip. In a bucket with a toilet seat on it, bad things can happen.
That's true. You'd have to keep that in mind for sure. But yeah, I know. I laughed when Joey said, let's get a toilet.
And she was like, I gotta go.
And I was going to go squat in the corner, remember? And you were like, I'll get the toilet out. Yeah. So I'm not above squatting in the corner, but I also enjoy the toilet.
Let's talk about portable tables. And we're talking about, there's a Coleman table. It's about $36. We've got a review on the YouTube channel. It folds up very small. There is a Cabela's Bass Pro table that kind of like a side table that folds up very, very small. It's got two places where you can put cups or glasses or cans in. Very portable. And that is when we're talking about with the wall tent that we camp in, when it's raining or in climate weather, we can bring that table in with the two nice chairs and create a dining experience inside the tent where you couldn't have such in a dome tent, or you'd have to go in the car or go somewhere else on the property to find a gazebo or something to get in and under during the weather being not pleasant. So the table from Cabela's, I think, was like $14. The Amazon Coleman table is $35, something like that, and well worth it. A total between the two, I think, probably like 8 or 9 pounds, and it makes all the difference. Somewhere to have things elevated where you can put, your food or things that you don't want to have fall on the ground, or if you're a videographer, you can put your camera gear and have it organized. So it makes a big difference when it comes to portable tables, and they can be any kind, but it would be something that you may want to consider as unique as they are, that they fold up to almost nothing now. So hatchet or a saw.
Yeah, you might think, okay, I'm going to a state park, I can get wood.
I'm going to pay $19 for a bundle of wood. Why do I need a saw or a hatchet? And I'm exaggerating, but I think we're up about here in Wisconsin, based on
$6 or $7.
Your high end is $7.50. Your low end, if you're really in the right place, about $6. And they really don't like if you go in the woods and cut stuff down and drag it in and burn it. That's a no-no.
Because it's a natural resource.
But if it's already dead.
I know.
So,
but then they bring it out and then they chop it up and they sell it.
Yeah. They sell. So a saw, what we're talking about, a saw, either a bow saw or a folding collapsible saw with that makes a big difference. Even just cutting small things, or if you've got limbs kind of or something has fallen, you need trim. A hatchet to cut down and make kindling with. Now, story about the hatchet, Holly. Just because it's $14 doesn't mean it's wonderful. Now, also, there's hatchets that are $250. online.
But it has a cute cover.
Yeah, it has a cute cover. Ours does, yeah. And I had to sharpen, and I think it will work. We got it at Walmart when we got the tint. The tint was a much better purchase than the hatchet was. And if you're into having your own land and you're into, doing that type of making kindling and all that, the investment of a hatchet of $50 or $80 or $100 and some odd dollars is worth it, because you want something that's steel. You want something that's no more longer than your up to your elbow, because you don't want to try to make kindling with an axe, because you got a long handle. So you want a very short handle, about 22 inches, about 2.5 to 3 pounds is really the size of the hatchet you want to give nice control. And you want something that's solid steel and has a really good sharp edge, so you can make precise cuts for your kindling, and it's worth it. It's worth the investment. Now, you may think a kettle is something that, I bring a kettle. People bring kettles, but I don't think everybody brings kettles.
No, people will often bring those percolator things for their coffee, but they don't bring kettles.
So what is the advantage to a kettle? I mean, I guess the percolator, you could take the percolating internal parts out of it and turn it into a kettle and boil water that way.
Yeah, you can do that. That's for sure. I don't know. I like it because I make French press coffee, so it reminds me of home.
Which you've got to have boiling water. Yeah. You can't just make the water in the French press canister. You have to put it in there.
Right. So you do have to have a way to boil some water, and then you've had tea. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the advantage. Or if you need something that you need hot water for,
don't get a cast iron. From what we've found, don't get a cast iron kettle, because it will rust on the inside. Apparently, this is only for like a cast iron would be going on a stove to keep humidity going in the cabin or the tent. But we were wanting a cast iron one, but I don't know what we got.
I think it's is it galvanized?
It's maybe galvanized. Yeah. Bring extra water.
Cute.
Yeah, bring extra water.
Yeah, extra water is good. I think you should bring more water than you think you need,
because it's easy to pour it out rather than go find it.
Right. We have a 7-gallon.
I think it's an aquatainer, 6.5 or 7-gallon aquatainer, and most times we'll fill it about 4.5 gallons. And realistically, we use maybe half or a third of that on a 2-day trip.
Yeah, but
it's easier to utilize that than not. One thing I want to mention that is your own cooking grate.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. So I also thought that Joey was ridiculous for wanting his own cooking grate, because he thought that. I was like, it's
Apparently
fine.
I'm not qualified here.
I was like, there's a grate on the fire pit, and
it looks like a monster truck has ran over some of these.
The last time I went camping, I probably was like 20 something, and I was maybe
not paying attention,
partaking in
how bad the
things.
grate was.
But so I was like, it's fine. And Joey's like, no, we'll get our own. And so we did, and I'm glad, because we can cook things directly on it. Not that you can't at the state park, but they sometimes a little rusty and questionable. So
I think our grate is maybe 16 by 12, and it's got a center focus, a center pin or a center rod that goes in the ground, and then it pivots on that. And you can have control over it, and we cook directly on the grate, hamburgers, pork chops, whatever. If you're using the state park grate, in most instances that we've seen on video and that we've experienced, you would have to put some aluminum foil down or something. With ours, you can get that flame kissed, and we know it's safe because we know what we've cooked on that grate.
Right, and I like that, and it's also nice because you can kind of control where it goes, type of thing. Yeah.
With those big ones at the state park or state, you can up, down, but it's not. You don't have the control.
One thing I was going to say is the portable battery. What do you call that? The power.
Oh, the Jackery.
Yeah.
Power station, portable power station. We have a 550 Jackery. And you use a CPAP machine, and this was the only way in which we figured out would work best. And we don't plug the CPAP machine into the outlet. We run it off of the cigarette lighter through a converter to reduce significantly the output of power so we can run multiple nights on that Jackery. And we've got a solar panel, but also it takes 12, 14 hours in some instances to charge that Jackery back up from dead. So you can explain the CPAP a little bit more than I do because you set it in a different way.
It just has a reset button.
No, I mean the amount of moisture and.
Oh yeah. So I use my humidifier on my CPAP. Some people don't, but I do. So if I just and then I keep it most of the time year round at the same humidity level. But when we camp, I do lower it a bit. Sometimes I turn it to 0. Like when we were fall camping, there was enough moisture in the air overall that I could turn it down very low or off. But yeah, there's that option to help save energy or reduce energy is to not use the humidifier. And we've got, I would say an average size. There's many different other brands out there. Up to 2,000 watt hour, power, and you're looking at thousands of dollars. But on an off-grid situation or a long term, it's well worth the investment with the solar panels and all that goes with it. So tell us what you take that you may find unusual but have benefited you in your camping experience at twvgshow@gmail.com. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.